Hello and welcome back to today's video. Today's video will be a quick one just discussing the Yak-141, the controversy surrounding it, and the underlying problem War Thunder faces with prototypes or generally any vehicle that did not enter production. Usually we see prototypes like these as premiums or event vehicles, but sometimes when a requirement in the tech tree needs to be filled, prototypes can be used to fill it, such as the case with the Horton 229, the XM975, and the ZSU-37-2 Yenisei. Although stuff like this is more common in minor nations like the Italian Sagittario 2, the Swedish USH-45, and the AMX-50 because these nations just have that much less production vehicles to go around. And now with updates Sky Guardians, we get the Yak-141, a prototype VTOL aircraft tested by Yakovlev between 1981 and 1992. Its claim to fame is the afterburning thrust vectored engine that allowed it to go supersonic, which made it different from VTOL aircraft before it. When the Russian MOD pulled funding for the project in 1991, Yakovlev partnered with Lockheed Martin, which almost $500 million was offered for 3 more prototypes. The issue with the Yak-141 is that it seems that there are discrepancies with its features and its capabilities. The biggest one seems to be the weapon loadout. Some claim that the Yak-141 did not use the R60 and R60M and only used the R73 and the R27s. There's also the case of the IRST ball on the nose and the helmet mounted device. The claim is that a lot of these equipment that the Yak-141 possibly had, but they didn't actually use them. So let's try and take a look at what really is the score with the Yak-141 and see whether War Thunder is playing fast and loose with prototype specifications. So let's start with something simple like the name Yak-141. The name Yak-141 isn't the actual name of the aircraft but the false designation they registered with the FAI because its proper designation was classified. The original designation of the Yak-141 is the Yak-41M, a modernized variant of the Yak-41 VTOL fighter. The Yak-41M received this designation in 1986 when it received an upgraded navigation suite and a derivative of the MiG-29M's radar. This allowed the Yak-41M to fire more advanced air-to-air missiles like the R-77 and KH-31. Before this upgrade, the Yak-41 could use the R-27, R-73, and R-60 series of missiles. It used the S-41M weapon systems, which is derived from the MiG-29M's weapon systems. However, use of the NWU-2M target designator on the ZISH-5 helmet is unclear. The website airwar.ru claims that it did use HMDs, but did not elaborate further. A primary source that did not state that whether the HMD was used or not was CFM Gordon's book on Soviet jump jets. The IRST is another issue. The IRST ball had provisions on the nose, which is why the prototypes had the notch on its nose where the IRST ball should be, but mounting the IRST, it seems like it never was the case. So what exactly should the Yak-41M look like in War Thunder? Well, to make it more authentic to the produced prototypes, the IRST ball should be removed, and that's it. The HMD can stay, the R60 can stay, and though the R73 will eventually show up, and that's a fact, and the name should be changed to Yak-41M as the Yak-141 designation is more promotional than official. The problem with prototypes being added is that there's very little information to go around. They're mostly added with what they could use rather than what they actually used. A good example is the Leopard 2AV. The 2AV in War Thunder uses the DM-23 and DM-33 APFSDS rounds, which appeared in 1978 and 1985 respectively, long after the 2AV was converted to the 120mm turret. The upcoming F-16AJ as well, referencing a single F-16 Block 10, converted to the F-16AJ proposal standard, is also being debated in some aspects of its weaponry. Overall, I think if we're to continue adding prototypes into the game, we should at least be consistent on what standards we should adhere to when choosing its armament and capabilities. For example, are we going to do the intended specifications of the aircraft, or should we use the real life example which we could actually refer to, like the physical model? Because I know Gaijin has already made really fast and loose editions like the R2Y2s and the Tiger 105s, but these prototypes have readily available information, and it seems like we're adding and subtracting what we could in the name of, I don't know, balance. But if you remove the IRSC ball and the Yak-41M, it's just the same thing. It still fires the R60s, it still fires the R27s. There's really no difference. But, you know, it's all for now. I'm sorry I can't make a longer video. I feel very sick right now. Godspeed.